Tonight, a major decision in a civil lawsuit filed against Oxford Community Schools in the wake of the deadly Oxford High School shooting.
The Michigan Court of Appeals moving to dismiss the case. Fox News' Charlie Langton joins us live in our studio with more on the court's decision, and this is big.
Yeah, it's big, and Roop, it is not the decision that the victims, the families of those 4 students that were killed, they wanted. They wanted a different decision. But unfortunately, the Court of Appeals ruled that those families cannot sue Oxford High School or the personnel there, despite the fact that they may very well have been negligent. But I got a chance to talk to the attorney representing the families, and there's more to come. Take a look.
Everybody knew from the beginning of this case that its end goal was the Michigan Supreme Court.
So let's just say right from the beginning that despite the Court of Appeals ruling on Thursday that the victims of the Oxford High School shooting cannot sue the school, their attorney is taking this to the Supreme Court of Michigan.
Public school students don't get the same protection of the laws that private school students do.
Is that right?
I don't think it's right at all, Charlie. I mean, that's why we took this case.
Meaning, if Oxford High School was a private school, the victims would be able to sue the counselors, etc. Desmond says treating public and private schools differently is a violation of equal protection laws.
We've had accountability for the shooter, we've had accountability for the shooter's parents, but we've never had that accountability for the school officials involved in this case, and that's what we're looking for.
The other theory is that Oxford school officials were grossly negligent, but governmental immunity laws say that the gross negligence must be the one and only cause of the injury. You're saying governmental immunity has been wrong in Michigan since the birth of Michigan.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. In a lot of states...
You think that argument's going to win in the Supreme Court today?
Yeah, I think it will. I think it will. Other states have recognized this. They've recognized that governmental immunity can deprive individuals of a right to a jury trial or of equal protection. But also other states don't have governmental immunity that exists nearly in the form that it exists in Michigan.
All right, so this is a very complicated area of the law, but let me break it down real quickly. There's 2 arguments that the victims are saying to get rid of governmental immunity. They don't like it. 1, equal protection, meaning that public school students and private school students should be treated the same. If this shooting happened at a private school, they could sue. Doesn't make any sense, right? Okay, number 2. Gross negligence. If those school officials were grossly negligent, the law says that that gross negligence must be the one and only cause of, in this case, the death. But we know that there was a shooter, and that's the proximate cause. So therefore, they lose twice. Bottom line here, the argument against this is that tax dollars should go to educate students in the schools, not pay lawsuits. And that's why we have governmental immunity.
But they also, that's why they have insurance as well, these school districts.
Well, who's going to pay for insurance? What would those premiums cost?
Exactly. But also, though, going back, though, with the government immunity and the A and the approximate cause and the proximate cause, that's one proposition that is throwing the whole thing off. It really comes down, though, to lawmakers changing that, though. Yeah. And there have been tries in the past, but it really hasn't succeeded. So will it make a difference when it goes to the Michigan Supreme Court?
Well, I think it will. And, you know, we could talk a little politics here. The Michigan Supreme Court may be a little more Democratic leaning, and this is a Democratic idea to change governmental immunity to allow juries to make the decision and not judges. So there is a little better chance maybe in the Supreme Court, but the argument is that the governmental immunity, the way it was written way back in the day, was wrong, and that students should be able to, victims should be able to sue the school if they've suffered an injury, or those actors, the school personnel, were grossly negligent.
You really think a little bit about those families that have to, every time this comes up, think about this over and over again, and you really, just your hearts go out to each and every one of those family members.
Yeah, you really do. You're right about that, and unfortunately, this is going to be appealed.
Justice.
The court doesn't have to take the case, though. Let's see if the Supreme Court takes the case. I don't know if they will. We'll see.
All right. Okay, thanks, Charlie.
Thanks, Charlie.